People give you so much advice when you get let go from a job. I will tell you about what happened in my own life. This was about 10 years ago. I was working at Saturday Night Live for a few years. Then it's a big hit. It's on NBC if you've never seen it. We got a couple fans here. I'd been working on Saturday Night Live for a couple years, and then I got the chance to have my own pilot on NBC. I was going to try to get my own show on NBC, and I was so excited. And we shot the pilot, and we started to prep for season 1, and then they passed on the whole project. And I was so sad. I was 31. I'd let everyone down, me, my apartment, and... You know, I'm sorry, actually, I'm saying getting your pilot pass as kind of industry speak. How could I explain what that's like to regular people? It would be like if your cow's milk was sour. So just after the pilot fell apart, I needed a job. And it's the summertime, and I got a job writing an ad for a video game that EA Sports makes called Madden. Do you remember the Madden video game, of course? At the time, Madden was the #1 broadcaster-led video game, just ahead of Al Michaels' Crystal Cave of Secrets, Book 4, The Stolen Pearl. There it is. We all played that. I myself, I never played a lot of video games and didn't know much about football growing up. I was more of a feed the ducks and then try to get into a cigar bar kind of kid. So I'm writing these football Madden ads, right? The ads starred Paul Rudd and a guy named Ray Lewis from the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if you don't know who Ray Lewis is, he was on the Baltimore Ravens and arguably the greatest linebacker in NFL history. I will admit, I did not know who Ray Lewis was when I went to write these ads. I was just happy to have the job. I get to the job, I'm still bummed about the pilot, and I wasn't even doing a good job at writing the ads. Like, the client wasn't happy with me. I didn't know how to get the kind of comedy I liked into it. At one point, I mean, this isn't even a joke, but like, Ray Lewis wins the video game, and then he stands up, and he dances like that. And a guy from the NFL ran up to me, and he goes, "We can't have that. That's a sexual motion." And I was like, "Have you had sex?" This is how Fozzie Bear dances at the tree lighting. So I'm already bummed and I'm not doing a good job, and I wandered over to the craft services table with my head hung like a melancholy little Saudi prince who didn't get pink to play at his birthday party or whatever. And I'm standing there feeling really down, and suddenly Ray Lewis is right next to me. And he looks at me and he says, "You look down." And I said, "Oh, hey, Ray Lewis. Yeah, I'm feeling a little down. I worked at NBC for years, and then I tried to have my own pilot there, and they rejected it, and I guess I'm feeling pretty sad." And Ray Lewis said, "You must win your crowd." What? He goes, "You must win your crowd. When I went through what I went through, I learned I must win my crowd. Goodbye." And then he walked away. And I was standing there being like, whoa, what did Ray Lewis go through? So I walked over to his agent and I asked. I went, "Hey, I was just talking to Ray. He said I must win my crowd. He said he learned that when he went through what he went through. What did he go through?" And his agent went, "Oh, pfft," and then stared at that time, the only man in America who didn't know what had happened to Ray Lewis. And he looks at me and he goes, "Well, Ray was wrongfully accused of murder and almost suspended by the NFL, and he was fined over $250,000, the largest fine in NFL history not related to substance abuse." And I was like, okay, that's good. It's not as serious as substance abuse, the killing of a human being. But I'm standing there thinking, oh my God, he felt rejected by the NFL. I felt rejected by NBC. These stories don't have a lot in common, but I want more life advice. So when we have our next break, I wander over and I go, "Hey, Ray Lewis, remember before you were telling me to win your crowd? Yeah. Tell me more about that." Ray Lewis talks to me. He goes, "I was facing suspension. I went out walking one night. I saw a movie marquee. It said Gladiator. I wandered into the theater. The movie told the story of Maximus, a general in the Roman army, who was betrayed. And then he told me the entire plot of the movie Gladiator from start to finish. Ray Lewis, by the way, is 9 feet tall and made of kettlebells and cinder blocks. And he was 3 inches from my face, telling me the plot to a 3-hour movie that I have seen several times. But then he builds to this big finish. He goes, Maximus could not defeat the emperor, but if he won his crowd, he would become the most powerful man in Rome. So when I got back the next season, I played harder than I'd ever played before. And I took us to the Super Bowl, and we won the Super Bowl. But Disney did not allow me to say, I'm going to Disneyland. And I was like, yeah, that makes some sense. Seeing as how you're accused of murder. Ray Lewis looks at me, he goes, do not give up. Win your crowd. And I said, wow. And then I yawned. And Ray Lewis goes, why are you yawning? And then he said, did you have a proper breakfast with proper nutrition? And I said, I had a bagel. And Ray Lewis goes, that's not fuel. And I go, well, what do you eat? And he goes, I don't eat, I juice. And I go, well, what do you juice? And he looks at me and he goes, beets. I go, you just drink beets? He goes, yes. He goes, you're like those young guys in the NFL. I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, they show up on game day, they've got pancakes and syrup and bacon. I walk in the locker room, I knock all that shit on the floor. And I set up my juicer from home and my beets. And I say, gentlemen, this is breakfast. Okay, let's take a step back for 1 second. Imagine you're about to eat pancakes. You know the excitement you feel when there's pancakes out and you're gonna get to have them? Imagine a 10-foot-tall accused murderer walks in and knocks all of the pancakes on the floor and sets up some weird Vitamix from home and filthy beets and tells you that's all you're gonna eat. I look at him, I go, you just drink beets? He goes, yes. I go, do you get sick? He goes, I never get sick. I go, do you take medicine? He says, I have never taken a medicine. I go, holy shit, I'm gonna live my life like Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens. We were filming in this little suburban house. I go out to the backyard. I call my agents. I go, I must win my crowd. I give them no context. I go, we're not done with this show. We will fight. We will win our crowd. Let's keep trying to sell that pilot. I hang up the phone. I go to dinner that night with my friend, and I say, I'm not eating any of this shit. And he goes, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna juice. And he said, juice what? And I was so happy he asked, because I got to say, beets. So then I went on this thing called the Cooler Cleanse. 6 days, you get 6 juices a day, and that's all you can have. No food, you just juice. And on the 3rd day of the 6-day juice cleanse, I'm in my apartment, I'm sitting on the floor, I'm listening to All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. It's just a detail. I'm sitting there, and I am filled with lemon juice and beet juice and cayenne pepper, and I'm thinking about Ray Lewis and how I'm gonna be like Ray Lewis. And then I shit my pants. That's on a Thursday. That Sunday night, I get a call from my agents, and they go, hey, we did what you said. We kept fighting, and we sold the pilot somewhere else. It's gonna be on Fox. And it was on Fox. And it was a total fucking unmitigated disaster. So if you ever meet Ray Lewis, don't listen to him, because you'll get a bad sitcom and you'll shit your pants. Let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen.